Bizarre Brain Comics. Ho, there, Nightmare. Yeah. Ho, hey. Yeehaw. Got the Trigger Kid here again. Yeah, I didn't think you'd be seeing me so soon, did you? Yeah, I'm the Trigger Kid. And I'm here to tell tales of the Wild West that never was. Oh. Well, last time we talked about Matt Slade Gunfighter in Western Gunfighters from Marvel Comics, and that was issue 12. Well, this time it's Western Gunfighters issue 11 from 1972. And the character right here we're going to talk about this time is the Black Rider. Yeah. Let's see what the big book of knowledge has to say about the Black Rider. So this is Marvel Westerns, Western Gunfighters, number 11, 1972, featuring the Black Rider. And the Black Rider is a fictional Western Comics character from Marvel Comics, first appearing in All Western Winners number 2 in 1948. So he goes back a ways. This is from Timely Comics at that time, later Atlas, later Marvel. By issue number 8, the title of the book was changed to Black Rider, being the lead feature. Kid Colt and others made appearances in the title. By issue 32, it had reverted to an anthology book, changing to Gunsmoke Western, and it had that title through the rest of the 50s. And the Black Rider was created by Sid Shores, who drew most of his adventures. And during the reprints in Western Gunfighters in the 70s, the character was eventually renamed Black Mask. Maybe that was to distinguish him more from Ghost Rider, because they already had a Ghost Rider, but I don't know. Don't know why. That's what it says, but in the issues that I've got, and I've only got 2, maybe 3 or 4 more out there packed away, he was always the Black Rider. And the Black Rider started out as young outlaw Matt Masters, known as the Cactus Kid. And he decided to go straight. And in the process, he wiped out a gang of outlaws holding a town hostage, saving all. He received a pardon and went to medical school, then returned to the West as a doctor to live peacefully. But when needed, he donned mask and cloak to defend the weak, etc., etc., and become the Black Rider. So, well, let's get back on our horses and head back into the Old West for some rootin', tootin', shootin', high-velocity adventure with the Black Rider. Okay, here we are with Western Gunfighters number 11, featuring the Black Rider, Apache Kid, and Matt Slade. This is number 11. And here we have those 3 characters right over here. And these drawings were all done by John Severin. try to get a better view there. We can get the glare off there. And you can see here, this is a really great, very, very action-packed cover illustration by Gil Kane. Of course, Black Rider is the featured cover feature, as he was in that other issue that I talked about. And somewhere along the line, somebody used a marker on the cover and kind of spoiled it. At least he didn't put it in the middle of the art. And this features the Black Rider blasts through a duel at dawn. And that's the story we're going to look at. Okay. Yeah, look at this great Gil Kane cover. I mean, just the position of the rider's figure just bespokes dynamism, action. And you see all the guns blazing, the smoke, and the fellow he shot the gun out of his hand. Well, you just look in the position of his hands. Just wonderful. No wonder he was called the Michelangelo of comic books. Okay, now we're going to take a look. Here's our first page featuring the Black Rider. The big old splash panel. And a little slightly different page layout for a first page. Still shows the splash panel, and then the two other panels beneath it. But it's just a little different in that it was done in circular fashion. Now my research said that Sid Shores drew most of the Black Rider stories, but and there's nothing to indicate who actually wrote the story. Quite possibly Stan Lee, because he did most of the writing during that time period. But this goes back to the mid-50s. And this is some 1950s Jack Kirby art. And it's not as easily recognizable. And we'll talk more when I get into it. Because here we have Black Rider. They're out in the desert somewhere from his town. What is the town? It doesn't say the name of the town. Doesn't matter. And while he was riding back to town from some other mission, he's bushwhacked. Ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. And in the process, the bushwhacker misses him, but he wings the bushwhacker. He rides off. The wounded ambusher galloped off. He's getting away, but I think I winged him. And page 2. Well, he hops astride his horse and heads back on into town, changing his disguise back into mild-mannered doctor Matt. I've forgotten his last name now. Anyway, here you can get a better view, tell better that this is some Jack Kirby art. But one of the things about this is that with this Jack Kirby art, it's not as easily recognizable or as identifiable, and because it's not his classic 60s, 70s superheroic type style. This is more in line with his older 40s and especially 50s style, the way he drew then, when he was doing a lot of romance comics. Yeah, Jack Kirby did romance. And in fact, he was one of the, from what I understand, he was one of the creators of the romance genre in comics. And here he is, and in his office, and well, lo and behold, here comes a fellow and he says he injured himself on some barbed wire. Well, of course, the doc recognizes him. Plus, he can easily tell that this was a bullet wound. So he doesn't say anything about it. He patches the guy up, sends him on his way, but then he follows him. He said later that night, a black-gloved fist rapped loudly against a bolted door. "Keep your shirt on, I'm coming." And it's that injured cowboy. And then Black Rider gets the drop on him. Look at that. See, this isn't even quite the way he drew the Rawhide Kid from the later 50s. So this must have been early 50s. Might even have been late 40s. It says, "Inside, Barnett, you and I have some talking to do. And lying won't get you anywhere. I'll trail you this morning to Doc Master's place. You've been out to ambush me, and I want to know why." So give me a break. And he says how, "Oh, no, it wasn't me. I needed the money. And somebody hired me." He said, Who hired you?" And then blam, 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 blam. Somebody shoots the guy from the window. It always baffled me why they do that in comics and movies and stuff. When the person they wanted dead is right there, why didn't they just shoot him? Anyway, so Barnett was telling the truth. He was hired to get me, and whoever did the hiring will stop at nothing to shut his mouth. So he gathers up the body. I guess he ain't dead. Takes him back to his doctor's office, changes him, says, "How'd I get here? What happened? You're lucky to be alive. I was riding by your place and heard shots. I found you on the floor and brought you here." "Oh, who did it, Barnett?" "I don't know. I ain't got the faintest idea." So, okay. You rest easy. And the next day, people are talking about the incident. And here he has a friend of his, a lady friend, who's helping out as a nurse. She's a regular Western gal with buckskins and stuff. But see, one thing I noticed, and I really like here, is how lovely she looks. How lovely his female face is here, because over time his the way he drew women altered, and they lost. While I loved his artwork, they lost the loveliness that he was able to put into them when he was younger. There she is, and she's taking care of the guy, and then whoop! Someone comes. Someone breaks in. Someone to get him. So see, the Black Rider was using him as bait, letting everybody know that he was still alive and everything. It says, "I can't risk it, Barnett. And I'm sorry about your being here, Miss Lathrop. You better feel sorry for yourself, Duran." Oh, he's that fancy business type guy. We saw her there. Blam, blam, blam. Doesn't shoot the guy. Shoots his guns and his gun belt or what have you. Then he just, this is a good one. Good dynamic. Of course, Kirby was known for his dynamism. Good dynamic punch scene. Boom. Laid him low. Then the guy goes to the pokey. That's a really, really good stance on that figure right there. And later, you should have seen how he handled himself. How he handled that crooked gambler. He was so wonderful. "Oh, I'm sure of that, Marie. But then, he's the Black Rider, and I'm only a country doctor. We're about as different as two people could be." All he needs to do is wink, and he'll be like Clark Kent. And that's the end of that story. And they were all several years ago. They had Marvel did like a mini series of westerns, some new western stories plus reprints, and then they were compiled into a book. I got the hardback book, Marvel Westerns. And it's pretty good, and it headlined the Black Rider, and that's the first I've seen of the Black Rider in decades. And this is some nice artwork. It's of course, short, snappy story. Now remember, this is in the time of the 50s. If you get wondering why the characters and stuff are like this, this was in the time of the 50s. Westerns were real popular, especially some of the inexpensive, cheap series westerns that had very simple plots and simple characters, and a lot of these kind Lone Ranger type. Had some others like right now I'm drawing a blank on it, but it's like Marvel did with the Two Gun Kid and the Ghost Rider, which later became the what do they call him, the Night Rider? After they came out with Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider, I've forgotten. They changed his name to the original, but the original Ghost Rider. And so that's what I've got for our little trip into yesteryear this time. And I hope you enjoyed that. I'll feature some westerns again sometime. Maybe some not quite so old, maybe some older. You never can tell. Okay. And thank you for joining me. Please like, share, subscribe. Share it with your other Western-loving friends. And leave a comment. But remember, comics, they're art.